Hey everyone, Brian here from Vintage Classic Specialist. Happy Tuesday, everyone. It is time for, you guessed it, another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So, in brief, today worked on the 57 Oval. We'll talk more about that. Rafa worked on the Signal Orange Ghia, and I also worked on this guy. Look at that. I'll come back to that too. So let me start with the beautiful Ghia over here in the corner over here, but certainly not forgotten. And so, yesterday Rafa had started, and it's a long process, guys. Yesterday Rafa had started putting on the faux wood dash panel, and so today he finished that up, and yeah, it looks amazing, guys. A lot of work to put this thing on, and the glue that we use is upholstery glue, and you apply it on both surfaces, and then you let it sort of tack up for a while. And then let me tell you, when you put the two pieces together, in this case the faux wood panel and the actual metal dash, when you put them together, you better be right on as far as where you want it to go, because that bond is like instant, and you don't have any time to you can't redo anything. So it's kind of a tedious and somewhat stressful process putting one of these things on, but yeah, they look amazing when they're on there. And so yeah, he did finish trimming that and put it on, so it's all glued on there now. Cut the holes in it for the glove box and the gauges and so on, and the switches. And then he went ahead and started installing some of those things, so you can see the switches. Look like all the switches are installed. The brake light warning switch is installed. And the gauges, I think the gauges for this car are actually really nice, and we weren't going to restore them as per the owner's request. They actually look really good though, so I think they're going to just pretty much go right in with like minimal cleaning. After he did that, he went ahead and installed the top pad. Also kind of a pain and requires a lot of trimming around the edges and stuff. They kind of come untrimmed, I guess, with the idea that you'd go and sort of trim it to your liking or to fit your particular car around the edges. So again, also kind of a big process to put this thing in. You don't just like slap it on there and start, tightening the hardware from up underneath. You got to really trim and fit all the edges and stuff like that. The bottom one, the knee guard, that one actually goes on a little bit easier. It's kind of just more or less like bolts on, at least more so than the other pieces. So yeah, that stuff's all on there for real now. So again, very time consuming, but there it is. Let's see, what else did he do? I think he also started installing, I saw him do this, started installing the upper trim here and the seal that goes between it and the body. So yeah, you can see it runs from there all the way along and down the A-pillar. So yeah, that's Ghia's for you guys. This massive strip that runs all the way along there, and then it's a separate piece that sort of goes from here to here. There's a seal between that strip and the body, and then obviously another strip that seals the window or the windows, and there's a vertical bar that goes here. You can see it on the 68 there, that one. And so it's just way more complicated, guys, than putting a Beetle together. There's just like seals and trim everywhere you look. But anyway, I think those are actually the main accomplishments on this one today. Is all pretty much related to the dash, and then other than that, that window trim on that one side there. So yeah, there you go, guys. Extremely time consuming. All right, so let me go ahead and talk about this one next, and then I will talk about the bus, Big Blue here, and talk about what's going on there. So on the oval here, as you can see, went ahead and put the deck lid on and got the spring on, and actually needed very little adjustment. It latches like it should and stuff like that. The gap it's okay, at least up there. A bit of a big gap down here, but you know what? It's it's a bitchin' looking car, guys. I don't mean to be like nitpicky or whatever, but yeah, that actually went on fairly easy and adjusted fairly easily, and put the spring in, so when you open it, it actually stays open. It's amazing how many Beetles and buses don't have deck lids that stay open, you know, with the spring. Although, truth be told, on my 55 oval, the autocross car, it doesn't, because I have quick release hinge pins on there where I can remove the deck lid really quick to access and work on the motor. But that's kind of by design. For a car that has, you know, regular hinges and stuff like that, there's not really a good excuse to not have a spring on there. So I don't know, a lot of people don't really know how to put them on, or they're afraid they're going to scratch their paint putting them on. They are kind of tricky, but there are tricks. And Rafa and I both have very strong thumbs, and that's part of the trick. Anyway, so that went on, and then the battery finally went ahead and tightened down the battery cable clamps on there. You know, just like little last minute stuff like that. The shift coupler back here, where the shift rod goes onto the nose cone of the transmission. Put safety wire on the little grub screws for that, so that's all like officially in now. And then went ahead and fitted his back seat back in there. The backrest of the back seat is actually just sitting there. I didn't see that he had them, and they weren't installed when I came in. Basically the little hinge screws that pivots on, I didn't see him, so it's just kind of sitting there. I think that's how it was when the car came in, but you know, he can take care of that kind of stuff, no problem. But yeah, just trying to get this car ready for the owner to take, and I believe him and I were actually just texting that he's probably going to get it tomorrow. So pretty exciting. I also went ahead and greased his front suspension. It looked like it had probably been greased already, but we weren't sure 100%, so went ahead and greased all the various Zerk fittings up there, and yeah, just a lot of stuff like that. It installed the wiring cover underneath the hood there. Took the car for several test drives. I took it on a bunch of like 2-3 mile test drives, and kind of kept coming back and, you know, adjusting the idle a little bit. And after one of those test drives, I think I straightened the steering wheel out, which was off, you know, from having kind of redone a lot of the front steering and stuff there, and done an alignment. So yeah, lined up the steering wheel, and then finally took it on my typical 8-mile test drive that I do around the city of Orange, including going down Chapman through the Old Town Plaza, the circle there. And yeah, the car did great. This thing runs really good, guys. And the intake noise and the straight cut cam gears, just really a bitchin' sounding car to drive. It does have a stereo in it. It's not hooked up now. I didn't hook it back up, and I'm gonna let those guys do that. But honestly, I would not even use a stereo in this car. The motor is all the music I need, at least. But that's me. Anyway, yeah, so this car, like I said, I think I told the owner I'm probably going to take it on one more quick spin in the morning, just to, you know, one last check of it, because he is planning to drive it home. He's got to go up PCH a ways, and I think he'll be fine. But again, one more test drive in the morning, and it will then have my seal of approval. So there you go. So actually, yeah, so when I do this episode tomorrow, this car will probably be gone, and assuming nothing unexpected happens. We'll just say that. Okay, guys, so Big Blue now has the motor not installed, but it's in for mock-up purposes. And so I did have to go pick up a little hydraulic lift from Harbor Freight. Actually, I had to pick up 2. The first one I got was defective. So yeah, you know, the issue with these buses is you can't just stab the motor onto the transmission for test fitting, because the way they mount, the transmission is only connected to the car, at least on these early bay windows. The transmission is basically connected up by the nose cone, and then there's nothing the rest of the transmission, nothing the back of the front of the motor, until you get to the back of the motor, which this side, the pulley side, and then there's that big thing called the mustache bar that supports the engine. So you really can't just slide this thing onto the transmission like you could in say an earlier bus or whatever for mock-up purposes, because you'd have to like install all the mounts and everything. So for the ability to just kind of get it in and out real quick to check, you know, positions of things and clearances and stuff like that, this is the way to go. So anyway, yeah, I went ahead and got that in there, and then connected the air conditioner hoses. So there's those two coming and going from the compressor. And then let me grab my creeper and we'll take a look underneath here and see some of the routing that I did. Hold on. Okay, here we go, guys. So yeah, here are these two. Well, let's see if we can see them from over here. There you go. You can see two hoses right there and there. So those are the two hoses, again, basically coming and going to the compressor. And so before I had those kind of routed underneath of the torsion housing, and kind of spent some time under here staring at things, and I realized there was like barely enough room that I was able to route them over the torsion housing. So actually much better routing, and you know, keeping it away from like a place where somebody may put a jack or something like that. So I'm actually much happier with that routing there. And so yeah, I was able to, you know, basically set the length of those to all the way up to the compressor, and then at that point basically work my way forward to where they go to, and connect them there. And so you can see this one sort of dangling down here. This is the one that goes to the condenser, and it is way too long, guys, which I already knew. But again, before I started cutting this hose and putting a new end on it at the proper length, I wanted to get the links all set back on the motor end. And the only way to really do that is to have the motor end like I have now, kind of mocked up in its position. So now I know exactly where this hose, you know, sort of like the length of it coming from the back of the car forward. Now I can cut this off. I do already have a new end for it, and crimp a new end on it. So here's the other one here. This one goes all the way up to the front of the car, and that'll be routed sort of up along under here. And for now, I've just got it sort of zip tied here. And then the one goes to the dryer right there, and then from the dryer it goes to the front of the car. And then the one that runs all the way from the back of the car to the front is this one, and that one is going to be sort of attached up underneath here with the clamp. And then let me show you guys the routing that I came up with underneath the car that I'm also pretty happy with here. And so both of those hoses, let's see, route. Sorry, just trying to get a good angle here where you guys can. Sorry, that's my creeper wheel making weird noises. There we go. Okay, so there we can see. So you can see those two lines, one there and one there. And again, that one is going to follow the frame up there. And then they run along the lower part of the beam right here. And then they go up over the top tube of the beam, another little area that I found here. And then from there, what I did was, in this piece of sheet metal right here, I put a couple of grommets and ran it back down through here, and then they'll come along like this, and then they go up into the passenger compartment of the car. So the reason that I needed to sort of do this versus just run it under here is because of this cover that goes over everything, and that cover basically bolts up on the back edge of this thing here. So you can see that piece right there, or that part of it right there that I'm running my finger along, that bolts up right here. So there was really no way to route the hoses other than to add some grommets and come through here. And so these will basically sit in here on the inside of this big tray, which, by the way, we still have to do metal and body work on and paint and stuff like that. But I did have it here for mock-up purposes. So yeah, this is pretty much where these will run along here. So now I can also, you know the length of everything up to this point, and that'll allow me to do any shortening of those hoses on the inside where they connect to the evaporator inside the car. So that was pretty time consuming, but now I know exactly, where everything needs to go, how it's going to be routed. I do need to still add some, some clamps and stuff like that to the hoses, but this is actually a big deal, guys, because now I can kind of finish up the air conditioner routing and hoses and stuff like that. And then at that point, I think I'm probably ready to go ahead and for real install the engine. However, well, actually, not quite. Let me back up a little bit. I do need to, so on buses, if you don't know, the gas tank on them sits right back there. So the gas tank has to go in before the motor. So I do have a new gas tank on order. The reproduction gas tanks that Wolfberg West makes are really nice, and it ends up being a lot cheaper than restoring an original one. So yeah, new gas tank and the filler hose and all that stuff is coming tomorrow. So yeah, when I'm done mocking things up with the motor in here, which will probably happen tomorrow or the next day, then the motor will come back out, gas tank will go in, and then I think at that point, guys, I'm pretty much ready to install the transmission and motor for real. I've got the all the mounts and stuff are also arriving tomorrow, so pretty much gonna have everything to go ahead and install this this for real here. The only other kind of like semi big outstanding thing on this whole thing is I do need to mount the remote oil filter up underneath there, and then I need to figure out where I'm going to mount a remote oil cooler, and I think it's going to go up underneath there on that side. That's like literally the only good place on these cars. And then figure out the hose routing and stuff for that. But that's like relatively easy compared to, sort of what I've been doing here with the air conditioning and all that stuff. So yeah, this one is going to start making some big progress here very soon. And I'd like to give a shout out to the owner and his lovely family. They actually were in town to go to Disneyland to celebrate one of the family members' birthdays. And so, yeah, they stopped by the shop, and it was my first time meeting them. So thanks to them for coming by. And that's actually it for today, guys. So thank you all very much for watching. Appreciate it as always, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.